Thanks so much for joining us. We are expecting a bit of a crowd today, so I think as people join in, it's a good thing that we get started. I can see some familiar names, so that's awesome. Welcome. All right, so I think what we wanted to do is do something slightly different. Generally, we talk about like 10 or 15 ideas, and then I really double click on each idea, and I talk in a lot of detail every month when we do webinar. But this time we wanted to just make sure that we give enough information that at least something sticks with everybody that's on the call. Because in a lot of cases, we've seen people who've joined the call from niche industries and they don't get enough good advice from the webinar. So I want to make sure everybody gets something. We have about 30 ideas. I think some of them are really basic and you should be able to actually implement them. If you're not able to implement them, we're happy to help you. But generally speaking, the goal is for you to get a couple of quick wins before the holiday rush actually begins. So let's kick this off. I'm Shekhar. I'm one of the co-founders and the marketing and sales and revenue leader at ConvertCard. And we work with more than 500 e-commerce businesses, help them optimize their conversions and run their email marketing through our platforms. And the company runs about 9 or 10,000 experiments a year. And so that gives us a lot of data on what works, what doesn't work. And our goal with this is to collate as much of that as possible and make an information-rich webinar for you. We do one every month. So, we'll obviously keep reminding you as we continue to do them. But yeah, let's get started. If you have any questions, please don't forget to put them in the Q&A section, or you can also put it in the chat. And I'll take them up as I go or at the end. Let's begin. So before we get into the holiday rush, let's get some basics, out of the way. What are some of the key dates? You can see them on the screen, starting with November 28th, then of course 24th, 25th, 26th, going all the way to January 2nd, Kwanzaa. And the reason I am bringing all of this up is because we've got to make sure that we cover the full spectrum of everything that's there. So as I run through everything else, I'm going to walk you through more. If you look at basics that you want to make sure you get right before the holiday sales, is make sure you're ready for traffic surges. If you're set up on a Shopify or a BigCommerce or any of that, you're good. They will scale their service. They already do that. You don't need to worry about anything. But if you are a custom store and you're trying to run a big sale, the last thing you want is not working out. So make sure you're set as far as that goes. Making sure your shipping partners are aligned with any last minute purchases that people end up doing. You will also have not only more orders, but also complaints, returns. You will also have more chats, more emails, more calls than normal. So that's going to be another one. And then, product related, stock related issues. And just make sure that people are, when they see your product, they are prepared to spend the money that you're expecting them to spend. There are articles every day talking about what the economic sentiment looks like. If you've seen the kind of numbers being published by banks in the US. By the way, most of our webinar attendees today are from the US. We also have people from all over Europe. We have UK. So that's awesome. But I'm just going to keep talking about the economy as a whole. But yeah, I think the world is going through some challenging times, and hopefully the future is better. But I think it's good to keep that in mind and then proceed from there. Also, the important thing that you have to kind of look at is when people are shopping with you, what are the different ways or different types of festive season shoppers that you're likely to see. So you've got the early bird, always looking for bargains. They would generally snap up a gift or a festive season item, whenever they find one. So, they are the ones that are already on your site. Traditionalists, they are likely to go towards things that are related to nostalgia, want to see something familiar and relevant. Self-gifter, people buying for themselves, last-minute bandits, right? They just want to make sure that everything arrives on time, always late about everything. Like me, I have a wedding to attend in 3 weeks, and I have no idea what's going to happen. I don't have no bookings done, so I'm one of those last-minute bandits. The rookie host, somebody who's trying to buy for the house, for the friends, and then someone who's like somebody who's always shipping things. They'll essentially do all their shopping online. So keeping that in mind, because you've got to keep your ICP or your persona in mind, let's get into the UX tweaks. So I'm gonna jump right in. We have 30 to go through, and I want to make sure I don't take up the entire hour that we've blocked with you. So we'll try and gift back some of your time. But let's jump in. The first one is a quiz. So the idea of doing a quiz is generally done in two ways. The first one is you are selling something that generally needs a consultation or people are not sure about the product. So you are eliminating all kinds of doubts before somebody picks something. The other is you do a quiz or a wizard in order to ensure that people find it easy to find what they want. I'll give you one such example of Repairs Universe. In this case, you could come to the site and say, hey, I'm looking for a screen for my Apple iPhone 15 Pro, and I'm taken straight to the product. So that's one such example of a quiz. But the other way in which quiz can be done is, hey, I'm looking for plants and I don't get enough light. I do own pets and I want something low effort. So you show them all the different plants that they can buy. The next one is aim for engagement. Now, this is a very, very important one. I'm going to give you a benchmark to follow. Make sure that you're collecting emails from at least 10% of your website's traffic, right? So that's the benchmark you have to meet. And when I say website's traffic, I really only mean new traffic, not the total traffic, because repeat visitors, you're likely to only have their emails. So if you're getting 100K visits and 70,000 out of that are new visitors, you should be collecting 7,000 emails a month, which means you should have 100,000 emails, close to 100,000 emails in that year. And how you make sure you do that is by not focusing on the opt-in. Exactly. So, generally what I see people do is do really boring pop-ups, offering a 10 or a 20% off in exchange for an email. I strongly advise you against it. I strongly think that brands need to stop doing that. Focus on the engagement. Forget about the opt-in. Generally, what we have seen with data is when people see a pop-up that says that 10% off, give us your email, customers or users are closing those pop-ups within 3 seconds, which means they're not even reading the copy. So you've got to make sure that you use that pop-up extremely well. In this case, for example, are you team Android or are you team iPhone? You could do a lot of different type of gamification when you're going for a pop-up. I have like 100 examples that I can show you, but this is one such quick example that we implemented for a customer. There's a player, there's a ball. I click the ball, the player kicks it, and I see, and that's where I see, the next level of engagement. So the engagement rate on something like that is about 50%. Half of the traffic will engage with it. And then, a certain percentage of that will actually give you their email. Moving on. Use visual cues alongside the price. There's a way in which you can make price smaller, right? You've got to do a bit of a car salesman here. So when you ask a car salesman how much is that 4-year-old Jaguar worth now, he's gonna say that car with its wheelbase, 2000cc engine, puts out 200 PS of power, 600 Newton meters of torque. It has brand new tires, just a year old. The trunk, it has this much space. The back seat is like a sofa. All of that brought together is just $15,000. And we're like, boss, that's definitely not true. But my point is, you have to add more value to the price you pitch to the customer. In this case, for example, few free beauty, gifts, triple encircle points, up to a $500 gift card. So there's so much that I'm curious to go to the next step, see why I should spend this money. Remember, the reason this part of the year is important is not because there are sales and discounts. It's because people are most happy to spend money during this part of the year. There is a reason why the most recent iPhone was launched just a month and a half ago. There is a reason why Apple dropped latest Macs just 10 days ago. There's a reason why all other technology companies, all other companies launch their newest, greatest, latest products this time of the year, because this is when people want to just give up. We're already there almost. People are like, hey, you know what? Enough. I've spent the entire year being frugal, thinking about what I want to spend on, not want to spend on, savings, investments, stock market, following Elon Musk, figuring out what's really happening. I just want to give up. I just want to splurge. I want to go and buy whatever I want to buy. I don't want to. So, it's like, it's essentially that energy you're trying to tap into and making sure your prices look smaller than they actually are. Also, ensure that you are inclusive to other cultures. Sometimes I feel we stick to Christmas that we forget that there are other offers that could be running, right? So in this case, for example, the holidays are almost here. So you're trying to be inclusive. You're trying to make sure your messaging is in line with whoever you want to welcome to your site. Diwali, for example, is mentioned here. Trust me, Diwali is for Indians what Christmas is for Americans was. So I think it's important to bring that in as well, because this will ensure your sales start a month early, because Diwali is at the end of October. So yeah, that boat has sailed, but keep it in mind for the next year. It's a lot of effort to do this one, which is to update your images to reflect holidays. But if you can do it for your top 20% of the products that drive 80% of your revenue, I think it's worth the effort. You will see a marked difference between what your conversion rate was and is. So if you can do it, I think it would be worth the effort. Talk about reviews that are specifically about gifting and holidays. We have a lot of customers that do that. We used to work with this company called Mission Mercantile, and I think their website still has that. So if I go into their site, if you look at any of the products, if you see this top testimonial here, excellent shave kit. I gave this to my family for Christmas last year, and they have been thanking me all year. Imagine, a shave kit changed their life completely. But you get the point. The intention is that you want to make sure that trust is built in line with what people are buying your products for during this time of the year. Floating banners. So in this case, for example, there was a button that says shop for gifts. And when you click on it, it changes into a holiday gift guide. So similar to what I showed you on repairsuniverse.com, you could actually do a quick call to action catalog like this, where you can allow them to narrow down basis price or basis who they're trying to buy or get a gift for. Moving further, use the top bar to draw attention to the best offers you're running. This is, I think, a really easy one. I think sometimes top bars are ignored. I'll give you a quick hack of making sure how to make your top bar work. Just make it say don't click. That's it. Just say don't click. That's it. That's the copy that it has to say. And when they click on it is when you take them to the sale page. That's it. Your top bar does not need to say 20% off, site-wide, free shipping, above $50. Nobody's reading it. Nobody's engaging with it. The click-through rate on your top bar of your total traffic is about 4. If you're lucky, 8%, but under 4% for sure. So instead, just say don't click. That's all it needs to say. And then see the clicks go up. And then sometimes people would do exactly what you don't want them to do. So that can be interesting. Attract shoppers by starting a conversation about their personality. So I spoke to you about, types of festive season shoppers. This is kind of an extrapolation of that idea, where you're trying to call out the ICP, the ideal customer profile of the actual shopper that's on your site. Is it the basketball fan? Is it the cowgirl, the mom, the maximalist, or the knitter? Right? And then you try and slot it. So think about this. What are the top 5 or 10 types of customers that buy with you? What are their use cases? Do they identify with their use cases? And then you go to the next level. Moving on, personalized upselling across, according to the shipping country. This is an interesting one. You could, of course, if you're shipping across the ocean, then you cannot send large gifts, or you cannot upsell something that is larger in size, whereas you can do that if you're shipping locally. So I think it's important to upsell and cross-sell. It's easy to do it at this time of the year. There are interesting ways in which you can upsell and cross-sell. I'll talk about them as we go, but that's another one that you definitely need to look at. Keep your quizzes short. Like the one that I just showed you today, I've seen quizzes that last. They're just too much of an effort. You going through one question to another, and then they want to fill a form before they actually show you the results. Don't annoy people, right? There are several options people will see. Just think of it this way. If you're a site that sells cosmetics, Facebook knows, Instagram knows, and Google knows you sell cosmetics. If someone has visited your site and you're going to lose them for a reason like this, where you've created too much friction for them to go to the next level, they will drop off. But the next minute onwards, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Google will show them ads for other cosmetic sites, for other people that are trying to sell similar products or products from the same category. And that's essentially you creating the demand and then losing it to somebody else. So it's super important how you treat your new traffic. It's also super important why email opt-ins will be very important. I want you to do an exercise. It's going to be hard to do it, but do an exercise. How many people came and bought with you November and December last year and then never bought with you again? So they only came for the sale. Now, of course, there'll be a certain percentage of people that will be like that. But then also look at what traffic were you generating during November and December that was new traffic, first time traffic, and then those people never came back again. That number is even larger. And the way to bring that number down is to make sure that you opt in, collect emails or intent or something else from that traffic that's new and coming to you for the first time. They're discovering you for the first time this holiday season. What are you going to do to make sure they remember you? That's the question you've got to answer. Let's go to the next one. Show a preview to hype the actual holiday campaign. Very easy, but don't do it in the same boring way. Generally, I see people completely revamping their banners like this and making a lot of noise about the sale that they're running. There's nothing wrong with it. But I think when I say preview, the real thing that I think we can do is if your sale starts from next week, send out an email and send out the new pricing that you're going to be doing next week. What you're doing then is all of the low intent part of your email list, you're at least exciting them by saying, hey, you know what, next week, we're going to do, instead of the $99 that we normally sell at, we're going to do a 70x dollars, right? So you can just kind of create some curiosity there by keeping it hidden. But I think it would make a lot of difference if you were to make some noise about the sale before it has even happened. Moving along, highlight all split payment options. I think this is super important. BNPL is massive. If you don't have a BNPL provider, please go and get one. Sign up with one. It won't take more than 4 days for you to get set up, whether it is Klarna or ClearPay or any of the other stuff. Moving along, use exclusivity and limited stock nudges. Of course, I think that's what the watch industry, for example, is thriving on. They manufacture half of what the world wants, and then, of course, everybody wants them even more. So if you can create an exclusive range which is specific to the holidays, if you can try and do limited quantities and actually be honest about it. Hey, you know what? We're launching this for the 2024 holidays, and we're never going to do it again, ever. It's somewhat like Starbucks mugs. I recently met someone who collects Starbucks mugs. I didn't know that was a thing, but they do that for as a hobby. This person travels a lot, so they have one for every country that they've been to, and so that's a thing. But then they also, told me that there are a few mugs that they had which are super limited edition, and they bought it for like $50, and now they can sell it for $150. So I was very surprised. But then also not so much, because we recommend that to our customers a lot and it works really well. Use holiday themed keywords as subcategories and attributes, right? Friendsgiving, Secret Santa gifts, stocking stuffers. So can you try and solve for holiday specific use cases? Is there a possibility? Can you bring in use cases that are like, if you're buying for your mother, if you're buying for your husband, if you're buying for your son? So you could create subcategories around that as well. But the point is that making discovery on your site relevant to the use case or the purpose for which someone is trying to buy something. Animations and videos. I'm a huge advocate of this. The hierarchy in which humans consume content is truly following its natural, motion. So originally we were consuming text, then we went to images, then we went to images with audio, then we went to full-blown videos. And so obviously videos are extremely high engagement. That's also why podcasts are now bigger than newspapers and written media, because if they're easier to consume, you can do that on the go. And so it's obviously a higher form of content in that way. Moving further, target budget shoppers with clever copy. A lot of people are just trying to buy that $20 gift, $10 gift for their office tax, Secret Santa. They're giving a lot of people give away gifts. We have that culture here in Diwali, for example, is to have something that you can just give away to people that are in need, or just people that you come across. And so yeah, that's another important one. Highlight tiered discounts to drive more awareness about savings. So this is an interesting one. Bulk savings, I think, very simple one. But I often see that this is not communicated too well. I'm sure all of us here have seen a shipping bar or a shipping, timer, which says, if there's free shipping above $100 and you've added $60 worth of product to the cart, it says add $40 more and you get free shipping. Can you try and execute that, but for bulk discounts? Add another $40 and get a $10 off. If you can execute that, I think it would be a great average order value driver for your business. It would categorically apply very well to businesses like these, which can actually sell volumes. Timers, it's a very controversial thing. A lot of people find them gimmicky. Let me tell you, they work extremely well. Timers, if they're done in a subtle way, like here, and if they're done for the right reasons, they work super well. For example, order in the next 3 hours and get it shipped the same day, right? Or this sale ends in the next 3 days and you run a timer. I know of a few sites that run timers throughout the year whenever you visit them. One such site is Slick Wraps. They sell wraps and that kind of stuff. I could actually, if you see, I can see a pop-up, which means I've not visited this site in a long time. So I can open this site any time of any day, and it would have a 2-hour timer trying to make me buy. Okay. And it's interesting that they do that, but it really works for them and they still do it. And they are always on sale and they are always running a timer. So that's a fake timer. Your loyal customers will not fall for it. And loyalty itself will become difficult. But if you've never done a timer, when you do it for the first 2 or 3 times, especially if you do it for something like a Thanksgiving or a Christmas sale, I think it will hit the nail on the head and you will see the impact on your bottom line. Use category pages to draw attention to gift cards are the best thing you can do if you are in a category that actually has gifting as a use case. And the number one reason I say that is it essentially wins you two customers. It wins you the customer that is buying the gift card and the customer that is going to use it. And if you can ensure that it's really visible and you're not, because, especially when you're buying products like these, it's very hard to choose for someone else, right? Some of us even hate if people choose things for us. Like if someone was to gift me a pair of goggles, I would probably not talk to them ever again, because why are you doing that? You don't know what goggles will work for me. And so instead of choosing a pair of goggles for me, just give me a Sunglass Hut voucher or something like that. And I'll figure it out. You know what I'm saying? So yes, focus on gift cards and try and use your category pages to draw more attention to them. Help indecisive shoppers with personalized gifting. Yeah, of course. I think the idea here is similar to the quiz, but only taken a notch down. So the way to make this happen is by leveraging categorization to help people narrow down just one step, right? And if you're not trying to identify the shopper, identify the use case. If not the use case, identify who they're trying to shop for, but try and narrow them down one level when they're on the site. Special prize, free gift. I think a lot of us are very tired of this messaging. This is where playing with copy is going to be very important. This is one such example. This is the best prize of the year. An interesting way to put the same thing. And I think it would matter if you were to be creative with the way you articulate your discounted price instead of just saying 40% off. For example, when brands add 40% off only till stocks last, it does give you the effect of, or a never before sale or something like that. I think there's a lot of very run-of-the-mill copy. Now we have robots that can write copy, so I recommend you tap into that. But I think be a little bit more creative with how you place your discount next to the product so that it does not dilute value, and at the same time, it shouldn't be boring. Let's go to the next one. Present as many shipping options as possible. So I have two things here. There is, of course, shine in for free shipping, same day delivery, buy online and pick up. So this is a business, of course, that can afford to do that. But can you also afford to do that? I think by far the most important information you will provide to your customers today is receive it in time for Thanksgiving or receive it in time for Christmas if it is later on in the year, right? That's the most important piece of information you will provide. I was actually looking at a site today. I'll actually show you what I was looking at. And so we were looking at a site that had a certain problem on the product page, and I'm just going to point that out for you. Oh, interesting. So I think they got rid of it, which is great. I'm going to check their US site to see if the US site has that problem. This is a pretty large business. I don't know if you already know about the brand. And I generally don't break script, so this is a special webinar here, but let's get into it. Okay, great, fantastic. So the problem with this whole piece is this orange button right here. Their own website conversions are getting cannibalized because somebody decided to, change this to to Amazon. And the problem with that is when I put my PIN code here, uh, it's actually going to ship that to me tomorrow, right? And I am a Prime member. Okay. And whereas here, they don't even mention when it's going to get shipped. So giving visibility to people on when you're going to ship the product, when they're going to get it at this time of the year is going to be very important. That's also a great way to make more money. And that is this example. In this case, they're expecting their customers to pay $2 extra for priority processing. Put my order at the top of the queue. So what that does is it does not prioritize shipping. It does not prioritize delivery. It just prioritizes packing and sending it out. And it's just $2 per order. So then I think I will let you do the math on what it would mean for your business. Use compelling copy to draw attention to discounts. I think this is a really easy one, but the copy that I'm trying to draw attention to here is get the best-selling titanium Always Fan Pro for the lowest price this year. Again, similar to the one that I showed you earlier, copy is king. Copy is the most important thing, most important lever for you to use to influence buyers about how they look at your product, your price, your collections, and your brand as a whole. The moment you fall for something that's quick and dirty, the biggest Thanksgiving sale ever sort of basic stuff, you are missing out on a chance to differentiate yourself. You're missing out on the chance to stand out, and you're missing out on the chance to convert. And so it's really important that you do that. Another important way or mental model to think of this is, let's say your conversion rate is 2%, right? And let's say your potential conversion rate is 6%, which is 3 times the business you do today. Let's say your potential conversion rate, maximum potential conversion rate is 6%. That means 94% of the traffic that is on your site is anyways not going to buy. They're not going to buy. They're not there to buy. They're just checking, looking, browsing. 60% of them bounce. So that leaves even smaller percentage, about 36% for you to actually look at. So let's ignore those 96%. Let's focus on the 6 that are there to buy. Let's do a good job with convincing them. Copy will do that for you. 25th, use tags on images which show which products are marked for holiday sales. Very simple, very, very simple. I will guarantee that your click-through rate on products will go up. This tag should also be visible when people search. It should be visible in categories. It should be visible in dropdowns, everywhere. And if you can add all the other magic, that would be fantastic. For example, in this case, Black Friday preview, free 2-day delivery, get it on time, and then if there are other samples that you can order, kind of stuff. Although this is not a very gifting sort of Christmas, Thanksgiving product, but trust me, a lot of people are going to have a lot of guests over. They're going to buy all kinds of stuff that they were not going to buy. Signaling is the number one reason capitalism is successful. Let's keep moving. Prompt a chat request when shoppers hang over around a page over 1 minute. Very simple. I think chat is something that is very, very underrated. The number one reason I say that also is because people feel it's clunky and people really don't chat. I recommend you launch a chat on your site and maybe hire a team that runs it for you and then see the magic. And then track a metric, which is total conversion rate for people who search versus conversion rate for people who chat. Chat will be the highest. 27th, boost your app sales with app exclusive discounts. Instead of apps or sales, you could actually boost your app installations. So if if you have an app, somebody's on your website and you want them to use the app, website price $60, app price $50. Lose the $10 for the install, and then you have that customer and you're on their phone for a long time. And you also have push notifications, app push notifications for you to target them. This is not me asking you to go and get an app. If you don't have it, don't get it. I don't know how many brands can do justice with having an app. Are you a brand that people want to have an app for? Will they keep you on their phone? How much space will you occupy on their phone? So those are the considerations you need to have, but only if you already have an app, it's a great way for you to acquire customers on the app. Pitch your loyalty program by showing benefits beyond holiday pricing. Of course, I think this is another reason I said that of the total people that will visit you throughout the holidays, about 70% of those will be new. They'll be visiting you for the first time. And because they'll be visiting you for the first time, it is imperative that you collect their information or at least give them a reason. So I strongly, strongly recommend that. I think launching a loyalty program will be hard because you have all of 10 days. But the easy way out is you opt them into the program using an opt in pop up and at least capture their details and then give them a free gift in return or something on those lines. Okay. 3 more ideas and then we'll take questions. 29. Can you help them calculate shipping right on the product page? This is generally great advice. And the reason I say that is this is the number one reason you have checkout abandonment. I'm not talking about cart abandonment, but Shopify checkout abandonment, the number one reason for it is shipping cost is calculated too late. And that's the classic example of expectation not being set properly. You know, when I normally look at cart abandonment and checkout abandonment numbers, it's normally an expectation issue. It's not a conversion issue. It's the fact that a lot of people are reaching the cart and checkout just to make sure they have all the information about this purchase. So I, for example, recently bought a new coffee machine and I was buying accessories for it from Normcore, which is this amazing brand. And I added $100 worth of product to the cart. And then I went all the way to the checkout to find out that the shipping was $30. Can you believe it? And so just because of how annoying I found it to be, I didn't buy it. And then of course I found the same products on Amazon for free shipping and I got it the next day. So had that brand told me that that shipping is that much, and if you order directly from their website, they give you 2 free coffee puck screens. I know a lot of you might not know what that is, but they're essentially screens that you put on top of the cup puck that you on top of the coffee puck. It basically is a small accessory. They said they give it to you 2 of those for free. They are also worth $30. So your shipping is free. I would have gotten free stuff, but they never said it. And so they lost me as a customer on the website. They ended up paying commission to Amazon. They never get my details. They can never email me. It's the end of the world. But yeah, I mean, I think they'll learn from it. I send them an email about it and I offer to do CRO for them. So hopefully their life will change for better as well. Offer an easy option for gift wrapping and premium shopping. I think this is a great upsell. It is a fantastic way to improve your AOV just a little bit. And if you can do multiple versions of this. Do you want a gift wrap with ribbon, a gift wrap with ribbon and a card? So that's $2, $4, and $6 that people would add to their cart immediately. And then finally, my final suggestion, give your customer a gift, a free gift from the brand. Let them try a product, right? Let them see something new. It could be a bag. It could be the way you pack and send the product. It could be anything. You don't even need to sometimes show it in the cart. You can just send it to them. If you show it in the cart, it's a great conversion driver. People feel delighted while they're shopping, and then they are, of course, able to do that. The example here is able to do it because their average order value, their product value itself is very high. It's $50. So they can afford to spend $10, maybe $20 on a free gift. So if you're not able to do that as a brand, that's okay. But I still recommend you throw something in some extra delight for the person who's ordering. If nothing else, I would do a handwritten note. Hey, I'm the brand owner. Thank you so much for ordering. Our Christmas is a little bit better because you chose us. And I hope your Christmas is a little bit better because you chose us. But you get the point. So those are some of the ideas that I had. I hope you have a fantastic holiday season. I'm open to taking questions. I'll stick around for 5-7 more minutes, depending on how many questions we're getting. But I hope I was articulate enough. And I hope these ideas will add value. I think there's a lot of good business to be done, but I think we all need to level up so that we can prepare for the holiday season, deliver a next level experience. By the way, we are happy to go in and take a look at your store for absolutely no cost and do an audit of where you lose customers and revenue. We are fantastic with it. We've done more than 1,000 audits this year already, and we'll completely look at every part of the site. We are also happy to do that with your Klaviyo account or OmniSend or whatever it is that you're using, to take a look at your email marketing. That's going to be a key revenue driver for you. So if you need help in either of those places, my inbox is open. I will anyways be emailing you after this. So yeah. Yasmin is asking, do you have a recommended loyalty program? Yasmin, I don't actually, but I think some of the ones that are largest are pretty straightforward. I think you've got to think of a loyalty program that fits into the use case that you are using it for. So I would generally connect loyalty to frequency. Frequency meaning DoorDash, in my case, would have a frequency of thrice a week. Uber would have a frequency of 5 times a week. And Amazon would have a frequency of once in 2 weeks. So their loyalty programs would have to adapt to that frequency so they don't over reward or under reward me. So smile.io or any of those tools that allow you to adjust this according to the category or type of product you're selling will be the right loyalty programs for you. Bray is asking if this document will be emailed. I would be happy to do that, but we don't do that immediately normally, but I'll be able to send that to you. You're welcome, Asmin. Any other questions, folks? Or feedback or thoughts? I'm just going to check the Q&A. No, yes, right. 100%, no big changes. Right? No surgeries before the wedding. Right? No changes, no large changes. It's too close. You 100% there'll be 10,000 issues if you do that. Your organic ranking will tank immediately. Yes, it will be. Right. But replatforming is not a good idea almost ever. You have to do it at the time when you know the business is already going to be bad, because it hurts the business in many ways. It completely destroys our organic rankings, because the way that Google has indexed you changes completely, your URL structure, etc., internal linking. Your loyal customers are now thrown at a completely new experience. Almost always, you will spend at least 20 days after going live fixing bugs, maybe more, depending on how good of a developer or a team you're working with. And only if you can handle that as a business, you should do it. But this is the worst time to do it, to be honest. You can do CRO, you can do A/B tests. 100%. You could add a holiday specific page, a category, a collection. So that's a part of the earlier points that I spoke about. Yasmin, I think you joined a little late, so we'll send that recording to you and you can take a look at the first 10 or 15 points. And I spoke a lot about that. You're most welcome. Any other questions, folks? I'm going to stick around for another couple of minutes so that people can type. I got this feedback once that I dropped off too early and I was still typing the question. And it will be sent to everyone. Chris, of course. We'll actually publish it on the site, maybe. These are great ideas. Okay, perfect. Thanks so much for your time, folks. I'm gifting you back 18 minutes of your time. That's my Thanksgiving gift to you. Thanks so much. Have fun. Have a fantastic weekend. It's just around the corner, one more day. And I'll see you in the next one. We're going to do something interesting, something about 2025. And if you have any feedback or thoughts or things that you're thinking about as an e-commerce entrepreneur, please email me. I love to hear and discuss those things over email. So I will wait to hear from you. Thanks so much for joining once again, and have a good one. Bye-bye.